Hey guys, I am here in my backyard today. Check it out. Let's check it out. How nice is it today? So I wanted to come on really quick because I know that during pregnancy we get so many cravings and it's really hard to eat healthy because you're hungry all the time and you just feel like nothing you eat satisfies you, and for some reason and we feel so tired that we feel like food is going to help us feel better. So I wanted to share a tip that I think is going to literally change your life. So this is a tip that changed my way of eating, like, huge. I created this like 15-second rule, and I created it from a pastor that I heard at a marriage conference. And then this week I went to a Tony Robbins event, and Tony Robbins spoke about this 90-second rule, and I had blogged about this. I created a 15-second rule a few years ago after the marriage conference, and so I wanted to share it with you. So I'll start with the first time I heard this. It was at a marriage conference where the pastor said that a lot of times we get into fights with our spouses because somebody says something hurtful and then you say something back, and then it just becomes like a vicious cycle because you say something like you're on the defense and you say something that you don't mean back, and that's how it escalates. So he said, next time you're in an argument with your spouse, next time your spouse says something, "Aw, thanks," next time your spouse says something that you don't like, instead of firing back at your spouse, take a few seconds, close your eyes, take 2 deep breaths, and just think, did he really mean that? Does he, is he really that mad? Or maybe he had a bad day and he's just lashing out on me. And just take a few seconds and remind yourself that you love your husband, and whatever you were going to say, like, do you really mean what you were about to say? And most of the time you don't. And most of the time you could think enough to say, you know what, he probably doesn't mean that. He's probably tired or pissed off or, upset, and he just doesn't mean that. He or she, correct. So that really was life-changing because my husband and I, we have both very dominant personalities, and we probably both should have been lawyers, but so one of us had to make a change. So I made the change, and it helped me so much. There's so many times, you guys, where he says something and I'm like, blood starts to bubble, and I want to really just say something back immediately, but I don't. I just take a second. I literally close my eyes. Literally, I am very good student. When I learn something, I do it. So I close my eyes and I take a few deep breaths, and I'm like, he didn't mean that, he didn't mean that, and I definitely didn't mean what I was about to say. And then I don't say it. And then I just wait till later on when I'm feeling not so emotional and so angry, and I just tell him whatever, that he hurt my feelings or he upset me or whatever. So one day, as I was dealing with my clients who were eating really bad and it was really hard for them to not make bad choices, I was like, you know what, I can make that marriage rule into eating. So I started telling my clients, and I started doing this myself, next time you go, because a lot of times, you guys, we eat out of emotions. We eat because we're tired, we eat because we're upset, we eat because we're happy, we eat because we're bored, and so a lot of times you end up making bad choices eating because of emotions. So what I started doing was, when I would go to make, one day I was arguing with my husband and I was so upset. It was we didn't even have kids yet. I went to the pantry and I grabbed a box of cookies and I was about to dig into them, and I wanted to eat the whole thing, and I closed my eyes. I remembered that pastor. I took a deep breath and I was like, is eating these cookies going to make me feel any better? Am I going to be less upset with him? Is it going to change anything? And then I was like, how am I going to feel after I eat these cookies? I was like, I'm probably going to eat 10 cookies, and then I'm going to feel like crap. I'm going to feel disappointed in myself. I'm going to feel like whatever my workout was this week or today is for nothing because I just totally screwed it. And after just a few seconds, I was like, you know what, forget it. And I put them down. And I was like, holy crap, that was amazing. I just talked myself out of eating that. And so I started doing it all the time, you guys. I started before I would go eat something that I knew wasn't good for me, I would close my eyes for a few seconds, take a deep breath, and kind of just think it through really quick. Like, how am I going to feel after I eat this? Am I eating this because I'm really hungry? And sometimes I would be like, okay, why am I wanting to eat this, whatever, bowl of cereal? And then I'd be like, I think I'm hungry. When was the last time I ate? 4 hours ago. Okay, I'm hungry. So let me just make myself something to eat. I have food in the refrigerator. Let me eat something that's not bad for me. And I started eating so much better. I started making less bad choices. And so I started sharing it with my clients. I wrote a blog post about it. And so many people were giving me so much good feedback that it was really helping them. And then on Wednesday, I went to a Tony Robbins event, and he talked about a 90-second rule. He talked about how a lot of times we get stuck in a rut, in a bad place, in a depression, or we get pissed off, or we're angry because things aren't going right. And if we would just he called it the 90-second rule. He said, when you're in that moment, you're in a rut, you're in a bad place, and you wake up and everything's going wrong, just take 90 seconds, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just think about everything that you're grateful for. Just try and find whatever happened yesterday that was good. Think about your kids. Think about something that you feel good about. Yes, the deep breath is really good. I like to close my eyes because it kind of just helps me to focus. But yes, the deep breath is really good. I usually will put like my hands on my belly and like take really big diaphragm breaths. But and I remember doing this. Like I remember one time I woke up in the morning and this was before like Keurig and espresso, and I had my coffee maker. I can't go like the morning without coffee. But I had set the coffee maker to go off by itself at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I go to the kitchen and there's coffee everywhere. I forgot to put a filter in. Back in the days when we used coffee makers with filters in it, there was coffee everywhere. I was so pissed. I had to clean it all up. That like was making me late for work. And so I cleaned it all up. I got in the car, and of course I was rushing because now I'm running late. And I get in the car, and as I'm like getting in the car, all rushed, I spilled coffee all over me. I get to work a few minutes late to see a client, and I just got there and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I'm sorry to my client. Give me a second to go in the bathroom. And I was like, I closed my eyes, take a deep breath, and I was like, you know what? I'm just grateful that I can work this early in the morning, and I can spend time with my kids, and I'm just grateful to have such a great husband and such a supportive family, and I'm so grateful for this amazing, I love what I do. Not everybody gets to love what they do for a living, and I was like, you know what? Because at the beginning of the morning, I was like, I'm going to have a bad day. It's going to be the worst day ever. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a great day because my life is good, and I'm so blessed, and I'm going to have a good day. I just kept telling myself that. I walked out, trained my client, and that day I started at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had clients literally straight through till 10 o'clock at night. And I had a wonderful day. I made myself go from a shitty beginning of the day, and just because I flipped a switch in my mind, I ended up having a really good day. So you can do that. If you're watching this and you're pregnant, because this is my pregnancy account, and you've been giving in to a lot of cravings, if you've been like craving sweets a lot, and you've been feeling just like ravenous, like hungry all the time, like maybe you even eat a meal and right after you eat it, you're hungry again, use this rule. I'm going to call it, since we have the Tony 90-second rule, we have the MMS 15-second rule, and we have the marriage 30-second rule, we're going to call it the Prego 20-second rule. And you're just going to take 20 seconds, take a few deep breaths, and think to yourself, is this food going to be good for my baby? Is this food going to help me feel energized? How am I going to feel after this? Am I eating because I'm tired, or am I eating because I'm hungry? Am I eating because I'm annoyed, or am I eating because I'm hungry? How am I going to feel after I eat this pint of ice cream? And most of the time, what did that just take me to ask myself all those questions? Probably took me 20 seconds. And I bet that most of the time, you're not going to end up eating whatever it was that you were eating, because you're going to realize that you're eating out of emotion, and that if it is that you're wanting to eat something because you're hungry, you may as well eat something good, because you just realize that nothing is going to get better because of what you're going to eat. If it's a bad choice, that you're probably going to end up even feeling worse, because then you feel disappointed in yourself when you're like, oh, but I was wanting to eat healthy and I feel bad because I've been piling on so many pounds. And so I really think that if you start thinking this way, my non-pregnant account is Michelle Marie Fit. And I don't go on there a lot anymore. I mean, I definitely post daily, but I am totally dedicated to my Pregos these days. But I still post like devotions and all kinds of fitness and recipes and workouts and kind of all that kind of stuff. But I'm really excited. I was thinking after I was listening to Tony on Wednesday, and then I was like in my private Facebook groups for my Pregos, and they were all like struggling with their eating and wanting to eat good, but always like feeling like they're craving sweets and so super hungry, and they make bad choices. And I was like, you know what? We can put this all together, and this could be really beneficial for them. So I hope my wife and I have a 2-month-old. Oh, awesome. I have a postpartum program that is amazing. It's called a Better Body After Pregnancy program. So you can look that up. But yeah, I think this could be life-changing for your pregnancy. And what's really cool is that like mind stuff is kind of, it's a muscle. It's like, like riding a bike, like you can't forget it. So like after you start thinking this way and learning to flip the switch really quick when you're about to make a choice, and seeing how powerful the mind is, you're going to see you're going to become a pro, and you're going to be able to eat better this pregnancy, and you'll control your weight gain. And then after you have the baby and you're even more tired and you're not sleeping, you're going to see that you're going to be able to, this is going to be super useful for you during those months that are really hard, because you're going to be able to stop yourself from emotional eating. So I hope that you find this beneficial. I know it's changed my life, and I hope it will help you to eat healthier, and have a great weekend.